Hello. How's everybody doing? Hope we're all well. And yeah, looking forward to the new season. Back with the first FPL pod or stream, whatever you want to call it. And of course, joining me today is the one and only FPL Corner Flag or Corner Flag FPL, whatever he goes by, Mr. L. How you doing, fella?
I'm doing very good. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's, it's very nice to kind of be back. Yeah, back streaming. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it's very good to be back. Wait, can you talk for me a second? I'm not sure if the audio might have bugged. Can you be
Hello
heard?
and welcome to
Ah,
the stream.
yes. You definitely can be heard loud and clear. Here we go. Had a couple of difficulties before the stream, but we're all good. And yeah, well, without further ado, let's get straight to the point. So I'm gonna bring up your team first, El.
Sure.
So it is as we can see on the screen. Sanchez in goal. I don't think that needs too much discussing. The defense, definitely from my point of view, is going to need a bit of discussion. The midfield as well. And yeah, let's just go through it. So you've got Trent and Shaw and Amity as your starting three. What was the thinking behind that?
So I think Trent's essential, personally. Sure as well.
Essential.
I mean, we'll get to your team in a bit. I know you've gone a different direction, but
Yeah, not quite.
I don't know. 7.5 mil for what he can do is
Hmm.
I still think pretty good value.
No,
He's
I
going to
agree.
outscore most, if not all, 7.5 mids. So
Yeah, I do think though that like I don't know how much of a discussion there is to be had with that because it's kind of it's different price points, isn't it? You're sort of it's a premium defender, and you're comparing that to like a mid-tier midfielder. Do you know what I mean?
exactly, yeah.
Um, so I don't because like if you take the money out of Trent and put it say into Greenwood, you can then get yourself De Bruyne. So in my eyes, you have to be comparing Trent to like De Bruyne.
You do, but you'd have to take quite a large chunk out of Trent to get De Bruyne from Greenwood, and I think Trent and
Yeah.
Greenwood combo would outscore De Bruyne and a cheap defender combo.
Well, I mean, what is it with Greenwood? Because I've seen him in a few people's drafts. I'm not even sure if the
Mm.
guy's even going to start. So shed some light there, will you?
He should start the first three, if not
Yeah.
four.
Do you reckon is that what?
Um,
Why is that guaranteed? Is that
it's just the way that United sort of pre-season's going. Rashford's
hmm
having surgery, so he's not back till sort of end of October.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Mm. So he's having his shoulder surgery. I
Yeah.
think he had it a couple of days ago, maybe last week.
Okay.
But obviously, there's going to be a couple of months recovery time on that, so he's out. Sancho is only just back in training, so he'll be benched for Saturday, guaranteed. Ollie's already said that.
Yeah, I've heard that Sancho is going to be benched. I just want to quick shout out to Liam Martin in the chat. Good to see you, fella. Um, so Sancho's not going to play, and Rashford's not going to play. Cavani, did you mention?
Yeah, Cavani, he's still. It's still a bit weird what's going on with him. He's not back in training at all yet. Um, and apparently, he might need to do the sort of 10 days quarantine before he can actually play with us.
Oh, really?
So at the moment for the Leeds game, it's looking like Greenwood, Martial, and Dan James are the only attacking
Martial,
players
Dan
United have
James.
that can actually start the game.
Oh, right. So it'll be interesting first game then.
So
Is
yeah, considering
Rafael Varane due to start? The new boy.
United were supposed to announce him today, which they didn't, so that was a bit weird.
Oh, so he's not even been
Um,
announced yet.
but he's been announced sort of in principle, but he's
Hmm.
not had his official.
Official
Here is
releasing.
Varane. We've signed him. All this sort of stuff. Yeah.
Same with like Lukaku, like he's been pictured sort of, with the Chelsea team getting off the plane and
Yeah.
so on and so on. So he's definitely a Chelsea player. It's just not, I guess, officially they've done their not done their official press release yet on
Mm,
those guys. So I see you've got Shaw. I completely agree with Trent. I
yeah.
guess when we come to my team, I'll discuss a bit about I don't know, my holdings with Trent. The
Mm.
interesting thing I found was like you've gone with Ailing as your 4.5. You're then backing two 4 mil defenders, which I personally think is a little bit too risky. Obviously, Amity currently will get a starting spot because of the Evans and Fafana injuries. But yeah,
Mm.
explain that one?
I just thought whilst Amate's guaranteed to start the first three games for
Hmm.
4 mil, you may as well get him. And I back him to get a clean sheet more than I back Ayling to
Yeah.
do the same.
And what's thinking behind
So
Ailing at 4.5?
Ayling, I think, is one of the best 4.5 options there are, to be honest,
It's
with
cool, isn't
Lamptey
it?
out. Because if you look at Leeds' fixtures,
Yeah.
Everton are their second game.
Right.
Then it's Burnley, Liverpool, fair enough, but then they've just got a string of greens.
Yeah.
So I think Leeds' fixtures are very, very good actually.
Yeah. They are
Um,
decent.
and I've left point 0.5 in the bank in case any of those fours need to be upgraded for whatever reason. But
Oh, that's fair. They
I'm pretty
give.
happy with just keeping Ayling, Trent, and Shaw as my main three for now, and
Yeah.
focusing on my midfield and attack.
I guess giving yourself a way to kind of get out of there is not a bad idea at all.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I don't mind. What do you think about Schmikas for Liverpool? Because first three fixtures, he could be one to go for instead of Amity. I've seen a lot of discussion on him on Twitter now that Robbo's injured. Um,
Yeah,
what do you think about that
I
one?
mean, I had however you say his name, Skimitas, until about 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Mm.
Um, when a report from Liverpool Echo said that Milner's due to start at left back on the weekend.
Oh, really? So a lot of people
So it
jumping
seems
off
that,
that kind of that bandwagon, as it
yeah.
were.
I mean,
That's
if
interesting.
it comes out that Skimikas is going to play,
Hmm.
then obviously he's straight in, probably for Omobamidele, and I'll play
Mm.
Skimikas instead of Amati.
Yeah. This guy, FPL Don, saying that he's hearing, or this person's hearing that Vestergaard may be coming in for Leicester. Um, Now that would be a hell of a signing, I think. But I think Vestergaard's a very good player.
Yeah,
But I guess, whether that will happen before Saturday, I believe, is when they play.
exactly.
I guess
Um,
it would be a little bit more trouble for Amity if, um, obviously, Vestergaard comes in and then maybe the week after game week 2, he doesn't start. That could
mm,
spoil your plans a little bit there. But I think for game week 1, Amity looks very likely to start. Do you not think though, with the way your team is now, you're sort of penciling in a lot of transfers already?
um, I've penciled in a sub, but not a transfer because Ayling comes straight in for a
Hmm.
Amity in game week 2.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
So
So
even
Greenwood
if
is a pencil
Vestergaard comes in
transfer.
next week, pardon?
I'd say Greenwood is a pencil transfer in my
Greenwood
eyes.
potentially, I guess so. But I'm happy to have him for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I can easily drop down to, I don't know, Buendia or Ben Rama or Bowen or whoever. Um, so Greenwood was kind of a two strategy kind of thing. The first being he's going to start a lot of United's first fixtures, and then the
Yeah,
second one, he's 7.5, so he's quite a good price to move up or down from there.
yeah,
For an extra point 0.5, I could get Grealish if Grealish is looking to start him
yeah. That's the
a
thing with
lot.
the Grealish could be one that a lot of people start jumping on. There's a few players like
Mm,
that. Sort of when Lukaku comes in, that we know he is. Whatever. If he comes in at, I reckon about 10. If he comes in at 10 million, I think I will probably look to jump on him almost immediately.
I
11
agree, yeah.
million. Have you figured out a way that if Lukaku comes in at, but I think he'll come in at max 12 mil. I can't see him coming in above 12 mil, and 12 mil will be in the upper end. Have you figured out a way that you could bring him in?
If he's 11 or more,
Hmm.
I'd probably stay off him until it's confirmed that he's going to be what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if he's 11 mil, I can't afford to have another Werner situation where
Hmm.
I've basically spoiled the rest of my team to get this guy in.
To get someone in, yeah.
But if he's 10, then yeah, I'll probably do. Off the top of my head, trying to think. Ings, it'll be Ings up to him, and
Yeah.
then maybe
Greenwood or
Greenwood down to a
whoever.
6.5, Barnes down to a 6, something
Yeah.
like that.
So 3 trans. I've figured out a way on my team that I can that we'll come on to, a way that
Mm,
I think I can do 11 mil in 2 transfers, and like
that's decent, to be fair.
still have a reasonably good team.
Mm,
Um So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. What about Rafinha and Harvey Barnes then? Um, what the think behind those? I feel like with Fernandes and Salah, we're just going to sit here nodding to one another and just agreeing. So there isn't too
Yeah.
much need to discuss those two.
Mm.
I had Rafinha in most of my early drafts, then took him out.
Mm.
I now have him back in. So I can agree with Rafinha, but yeah, what are your opinions on him?
I think he's underpriced, to be honest.
Yeah,
6.5 seems a bit of a bargain for what he can do and what he did last season, even though he was out for quite a bit of the season with his injury.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and like I said, once you pass the United game, Leeds fixtures are brilliant, apart from that game week 4 game against Liverpool.
Hmm.
Everton game week 2's classed as a red 4 by FPL, which I don't back at all. Everton have been really
Yeah,
poor in pre-season.
especially from a attacking point of view. Not necessarily
Yeah,
from a defensive point of view, I can maybe understand it, but from an attacking point of view, I definitely do think that a lot of people are probably maybe overlooking Rafinha at the start of the season because of the Man United uh,
mm,
fixture, and then the Everton fixture obviously on there is like red, like all first two fixtures red, and then I think their fourth fixture is Liverpool,
yeah, yeah.
which Leeds Liverpool. It was actually absolute cracking game at the start of last season,
It
4-3.
was. Yeah, that was
And
really,
Leeds
really good.
Leeds have shown that even in games, like the 5-2 with Manchester United, even in games where they may be underdogs, they're playing against a bigger team, they're always going to try and score.
Exactly. That's all you need him to do as well. You don't need him to win to score points, do
Yeah.
you? You just need him to score a goal.
And I think with Rafinha
Um,
as well, I was a little bit sort of, I've got Luke Shaw. Do I play Rafinha as well as the sort of contradiction there? But Shaw, I think easily could go and get an attacking return. And if Shaw gets an attacking return and Rafinha can also get himself attacking return, that'd be just
yeah,
absolutely lovely. And Shaw for me, I think is going to be pretty much a season keeper. We'll wait and see.
yeah.
FBL Tip says, love the new graphics. Thanks, mate. Very much appreciate that. How are you feeling ahead of a game week 1? Obviously, only a couple of days left. So yeah, I didn't. I thought I had my team sort of set on about Saturday. I saw everyone on Twitter going, I've made so many drafts, and I've sort of just really only had one draft. And then over the last couple of days, it's just got into the last week, and I'm just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, I
Honestly, I'm still not 100% on this team.
I think the Robertson injury
Um,
kind of threw me a little bit because my team I felt had like a really nice structure to it with him in there.
mm,
Um, Actually, I'll move on to my team.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a nice structure in there. I've obviously gone from Robbo down to Van Dijk instead of the other way round. I just think that for me, come the end of the season, they're going to score similar points. If not, I don't think it's going to be a Mills difference worth. Um, I'm just looking at the Norwich game, and Verge loves a header against Norwich. So I also think I was discussing as well about Lukaku. If I have Trent, I think it's harder for me to justify kind of getting rid of him because of what he offers. Whereas Verge, after our game week 6, I think I can very happily kind of get rid of him. Um,
Mm.
and then I've got Dino in there as well. What do you think about Dino? Not really, not seen you draft him once.
No, I don't trust Everton's defence at all this
No,
season, to be honest.
not the attacking
Um,
returns of Dean, or don't back it.
I think there's just better options. I think
Mm,
Kufal's or Cresswell's a better option than him for similar price.
potentially, no, I can potentially get behind that. I mean, yeah, for me, I don't know. Maybe I am falling into a trap, but just the fact that he got the zero point 0.5 mil decrease, I'd hope Rafa Benitez will hopefully come in and shore up that defence potentially, and
He should
Digne.
do.
Um, one thought that I was thinking as well is that in the first 3 game weeks, Richarlison's out, right?
Oh, apparently he's back now.
Richarlison's back. Is he going to? Do you reckon
Yeah,
he'll
I read
start the
today
first game?
he's been in. He's in contention to start.
Is he? Because my thinking
Um,
was that Dino would have the possibility in the first few game weeks of being on pens.
oh, I see.
Um,
Mm,
with Richarlison like not available.
yeah.
So that was a bit of a
Dini's
thinking
one
one.
for me that I think I'd watch and wait because
Mm,
Benitez is a very good defensive manager, but it's not going to be overnight. It's going to
yeah,
take a couple of weeks. So
very true.
he's one I'll keep an eye on, but he's not one I want to start with.
Hmm. Yeah, I just think at that 5.5 range. I don't know, as you say, Creswell, but I'm not sure if I see anyone better really for me. And I think I've had him in so long now that if I took him out, it would just kind of I'd almost rue it a bit too much if he went and did all right.
Mm.
I think the interesting one for me is El Ghazi in there. That's the kind of my major differential pick. I just think for me, with Buendia not due to start, with Bailly not able to start, El Ghazi's going to start the first one, two, three fixtures. We've seen that he's probably going to be on pens, even though Danny Ings is playing.
Yep.
And Villa's first three fixtures are just absolutely ridiculous. Watford away, who, as you know, I watched. I went and watched them play against Palace,
Oh
and
yeah.
absolute like Watford. The thing I took away from that game was not that Palace actually looked any good. Really, we were pretty mediocre. Is that Watford looked really poor,
Mm.
which is why I now have my. I had Sarin before that, and I now have my kind of differences about that because yeah, I just can't see Watford doing. They went sort of from one of the teams that I thought would stay up to a team that I actually think is definitely going to get relegated. I just don't think they've got the Premier League experience in them. So what are your thoughts on the triple up on Aston Villa?
Um, I did have Watkins and got rid when there was all that talk about him going wide. Um, but then Dean Smith came out, was it last night, and said that he doesn't see him playing Watford at Watkins wide at all. So it
Mm.
sounds like Aston Villa will set up with either a sort of 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1
Yeah,
kind of setup. Um, so Watkins for me is one I'm still considering, kind of doing a swap for Greenwood for the same price.
yeah, because
Um,
he said in the press conference that I think for one injury wise he's very hopeful he can have him back for the game. And I think with Watkins, he's a player that's been quite good with injury in terms of when he's been sort of a 75% chance. I think he's pretty much played every single time.
mm,
He's been one that's really good for kind of I guess recovering from injury. Um, Also, as you say, Dean Smith said in his press conference that they brought Watkins in as a centre forward, and there's no way that he's kind of not going to play him there. So I almost think
yes.
that Watkins could potentially do better than Ings if that's the case, because I reckon Ings is going to be sort of dropping and then playing the balls through to Watkins. Is
Mm.
how I kind of see it going. And then for me, El Ghazi's in there as the penalty taker. Just I can't see a player. All right, here's a question for you: 6 to 6.5 mil, right? I'm looking first 2 to 3 game weeks. Who are you picking? I know it's a bit on the spot because there's a lot of players to think about,
Mm.
but that's where that's what I'm looking for um, with this player effectively because I had Sarr in there and I was thinking, well, if I'm only going to play him for the first 2 or 3 weeks, they play Villa, they play Brighton, and they play Spurs. Probably three of them not the easiest fixtures anyway. I think two of them are away, so I'm just not. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a tough one. That I think you've already got Rafinha, so that's gone.
yeah,
Um, I quite like the look of Ben Rama at West Ham. He's had a very good
yeah.
pre-season.
No, I've sort of contemplated Ben Rama a bit.
Fornals again at West Ham looking good.
Yeah,
Um, outside of that, though, I'm not sure.
because I think for me after that, I can see if Sar does well, then come game week 4, Sar's Watford have a very nice little run of fixtures, so I can just I can swap back to Sar. Then I can go to Harrison. Adama comes in with some nice fixtures. I do think I've got a few. I was saying to you about penciled in transfers, but definitely got a few penciled in transfers here. Watkins probably will be going out come the Chelsea fixture. El Ghazi
Mm.
definitely will be. And yeah, my front three at the moment don't look a little bit flimsy in terms of their hamstrings, and maybe the back line with Digne and Shaw as well. Um, in terms of the bench, I've got Ben White. Have you not debated Ben White over Ayling? Or
No, not really. He's a centre back, isn't he? So
Yeah.
He did good. He did well at Brighton, but the way
Hmm.
that Arteta plays centre backs, I don't think he's going to get over the pitch that much.
No.
He also plays for Arsenal. I just don't like having Arsenal players in my team.
Yeah. You're making me debate the Alien pick now because they do have a very very nice run of fixtures, and if I am to bring Lukaku in, I think I'm going to need a player who's got a good run of fixtures for that period, I guess. So yeah, I think
Mm.
after this, I'll definitely be contemplating Ailing a little bit. And I did hear some stats from someone that said that Ailing got, I think it was 100 points last season, but his expected points were 166 in terms of like the attacking returns he should have got, the assists he
Mm.
should have got. So maybe this season those will actually come good for him. He did play a reasonable amount of games at centre back, so I guess it just sort of depends where he gets put.
Yeah.
We have a
I just hope he can become the new Dallas.
yeah,
That'd be ideal.
but I guess Dallas will still be in the position that he's playing. So he was too good to be true though. Dallas, he was
Yeah, he
well, he
was.
was unbelievable.
He was.
Dave comes in with who is the best City player? What do we think about that one?
I would say,
Best Man City player. In terms of, I'm assuming it's for FPL because if you're just saying generally, I'd Kevin De Bruyne 100%.
yeah,
But in terms of asset, I'd probably lean towards Ruben Diaz
yeah.
for
I
the
nearly said I was thinking Diaz Cancelo.
for the start of the
Um,
season. Grealish could easily come in and like take up that mantelpiece, and De Bruyne, if he has a good start, could easily come in as well. But I think those two are a little bit too, I don't know, less reliable, I guess, to say for the start of the season. But yeah, for me, it's just
yeah,
Diaz.
yeah. This is a weird one, isn't it? That it's just there's just going to be so much rotation now. They've
Mm.
basically got two first 11s.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably say Diaz because he's the one or Edison because they're the only two that are really going to start every game.
Hmm.
Even De Bruyne is looking. He's kind of showing his age a little bit now. He's getting more and more injuries.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so you never know how long he'll be out for. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get one. But if he does get an injury, then he'll probably it won't be a quick turnaround like it used to be anymore.
No, for sure.
Um, I think Grealish is definitely one to watch though. 8 million for a City winger could be very very good.
Yeah, easily so. Um, yeah, I hope that sorts you out there, Dave. Thoughts? Cheeseman comes in with thoughts on Greenwood. Um, Possibly a rotational risk. Kind of, I guess. What do we think on Greenwood? We discussed a bit earlier because L's got him in your team, so I guess sort of maybe go back over 1 or 2 points of why Greenwood you think was the one.
The first couple of games mainly the sort of disorganisation that United's
Hmm.
pre-season is in, plus Rashford's surgery,
Yeah.
means he should start at least the first two and then
Hmm.
feature well in the other ones because Cavani can't play back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Um, and then our only real striker option is Martial
Yeah.
and Greenwood, but you
Hmm.
need one of those on the wings.
For sure.
So whether he's playing on the wing or as a striker, he'll be on the pitch,
Hmm.
scoring points.
Yeah, man. That's you're making me think a little bit with Greenwood because, as I say, I'm looking for a player for the first kind of 2 or 3 game weeks. I think, as I don't know, have a discuss my kind of my placeholder theory for the start of the season. I guess I just want players, or at least from a couple of positions, like one midfield, maybe one attacking position that we probably know are just going to be good over the first 2 or 3 game weeks. Suss things out, and then just make the moves from there. And then for the rest of the team, have players that I just think I am going to want to keep for the first 10. So, for example, like Rafinha, Salah, Fernandez, Shaw, probably Dean, Verge, Sanchez, maybe Antonio are all kind of in that basket. And then that
Yep.
leaves, the three Villa, El Ghazi, Watkins, and Ings potentially to rotate around. Also, Dean, like Everton, Chelsea rotate quite nicely with each other in terms of any team that has a good first six rotates well with Chelsea, because come game week 7, a lot of people I think are going to want to bring in Chelsea players. Their fixtures look unbelievable. If they start anywhere near like how they ended last season, they could be cracking. And for me, it's one of them where I had Rudiger in for a while. I'm still potentially debating it because Chelsea was such a good defensive side that it's kind of, as I said, going for teams who are actually good defensively rather than the fixtures. I just reckon though that I know Dean with the attacking output that he does, he's just the one for me. I don't know. But anyway, let's move, because I know we discussed before the stream about doing our Premier League kind of predictions, I guess. So let us know in the chat as well as we go through. So which one do you want to start with? We're going to top 4 or bottom 3?
I don't mind.
The relegation boys.
You're the boss.
Let's go with the relegation boys to start with, because I think I'm very interesting to hear. So let us know in the comments what 3 teams do you think are going to get relegated. I think I've already said one of them because of I saw their pre-season antics and was just like, no, this is awful. So Watford are in there for me. I think Norwich are in there for me as well. And then I'll let you do your 2, and then we'll discuss the last one.
Yep, I agree with both of them. Norwich are a classic up down team.
Bit of a ping pong.
Watford, I mean, I haven't actually watched any of their pre-season, but they don't seem very convincing.
No.
I mean, that might change when a couple of their strikers are back. I understand King's not fully fit yet. Deeney's still out.
Yeah, I kind of just looked at if they play a similar team to how they did last weekend. I looked at the team sheet and was just like, I don't recognise any of the names here. They really don't have the Premier League experience. I think they are going to be in for a little bit of a shock.
Yeah,
potentially.
And I think with Watford, I mean, Sarr's good, but he's not a Grealish that can carry a team basically on his own.
No, exactly. He's definitely not going to be able to carry that team. And even so, like, you know, I like that comparison because the season that Villa came up, they almost themselves got relegated. You know, they were literally like, it was down to the last day, wasn't it?
Wasn't it VAR or something?
There was there was a couple of decisions. There was a decision against Palace, obviously I still remember that, where Saku handballed it. It wasn't a handball. The goal should have stood. And then the most controversial one was the Sheffield United one against.
That was it.
I think it was against Villa, where the ball was literally in the back of the net, but the goal line technology screwed up. So Sheffield should have had a goal, and Villa should have had 1 point. I think it was either 1 point or 2 points less, but either way, that would have made the difference because they stayed up on goal difference, I believe. Or no, I think they were 1 point ahead of Bournemouth, but Bournemouth had the better goal difference. So they had one less point, Bournemouth would have stayed up. If you get me.
So they won because of VAR. They won the game, didn't they? So they got 3 instead of 1 point.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that saved them. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave comes in with Watford Palace as his prediction. Well played, sir. Well played, sir. Cheesebomb comes in with Norwich, Watford, and I guess the third one that we haven't yet discussed, but he's going for Southampton. Now, I can get behind the idea of Southampton getting relegated because I don't think, they've looked particularly great last season. Towards the back end of the last season, just sold Danny Ings. They have brought in Adam Armstrong, who looks like a pretty decent striker, so he might be enough to keep them up. Before the Adam Armstrong signing, I was thinking Southampton most definitely probably are going to get relegated. Now I'm a little bit like, well, I think they'll be down there in the scrap, but they have more of a potential of staying up. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, I agree similar to what you've said. I think before, when it was just Danny Ings out and no sign of a replacement, I thought there'd be in a relegation scrap. But Adam Armstrong is unbelievable. He's so good.
Could be an FPL
and that's
asset
the only
at some
real
point
change to the Saints team that's happened.
Yeah.
They've lost a good striker, but they've brought a good striker in.
Mm-hmm. Very intrigued to see how much he comes in at as well. He has been officially announced by Southampton, so it will be very interesting to see kind of the price that he comes in at FPL. Do you know what's it? Vestergaard gone Leicester as well. Is that confirmed? Is that like?
Can
Do
have
you
a quick
want
look
to
on.
have a quick look at that? El? Because like, if that's confirmed, then I think I'm back in the discussion of, oh, maybe Southampton are getting relegated because Vestergaard and Bednarak were 100%, by far and away their best two centre backs. Um, who else did they? They were Bednarak, and I can't think who else they have. I think they've got a youngster, but so what other teams are we thinking? Newcastle definitely in the scrap. Burnley, could it be Burnley's year to go down? They haven't done anything in the transfer market. I think this was a big transfer market for a lot of teams. Um, Romano,
Oh
here
yeah,
we go. Okay, then yeah, that's that. Well, I'd say that's
Fabrizio. Yeah,
all
Yannick Vestergaard to Leicester.
all but confirmed then. So,
Mm.
hmm, 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 hmm.
That personally doesn't change things for me.
Yeah,
I think Newcastle are a lesser team than Saints at the moment, especially because they don't secure the Willock loan again.
a
Because
lesser team than Saints, Newcastle.
all Newcastle need is Wilson to get injured, and
Yeah,
they're gone.
that's the thing I was discussing with
Um,
you is like, as long as they have Wilson fit, they're staying up. But
yeah,
if he does get injured, then all of a sudden they're dropping. They're dropping, dropping, dropping. And I think Willock probably was there, he was a bit of a saviour in a sense last season because he came in and actually played very, very well.
mm.
Is there an FPL jab to leave? No, I probably should create one, I haven't got round to creating one. Um, do I create? I'll create one. I'll create one. I'll get it done, and I'll post it up. It probably it won't have too many people in it, but yeah, it'll be nice to have one. I'll make sure for the next stream that is already raring to go. But yeah, for the last team, so I've got Watford, Norwich. I'm gonna go Brentford. I know it's very basic going for the three teams that have come up, but I hear a lot of hype about Brentford. I don't know really whether to get on board with it. I think they're definitely going to be in a relegation scrap. And yeah, whether Ivan Toney is going to be the man who everyone think he is, I don't know. Is basically what I say to that. Definitely, yeah, I will do one, Dave. So yeah, I think I'm going Watford, Norwich, Brentford. What were your three? Are? Is it Newcastle in the end?
Watford, Norwich, Newcastle. If not Newcastle, then
Burnley are definitely up there for me as well, 100%.
Burnley are too good at staying up now, though.
That's the thing.
Too
Under
used to it.
Dyche, you can't see them going down, really, can you?
No, I I don't know. It's hard. Definitely Watford, Norwich, like we said,
Hmm.
Newcastle, and then it almost has to be Saints, doesn't it? Because
Almost.
Brighton, I think, are too solid now.
Yeah.
I'll back
I don't know.
Brentford to stay up. I
They
think.
haven't brought. They bought in is it in Wepu? In
I
Weber.
don't know.
They bought uh Harvey Salzberg player in, I think, for 20 million or something, who's an attacker, but they haven't actually brought in an out and out striker, so they're still lacking goals. They've gotten rid of Ben White, so defensively they won't be as good. They have got replacements who can come in, Veltman and so on. So I still think they'll be okay. And they do play nice football. So if they can, bag the goals and get themselves a striker, they'll do really well. But I still see them being in a relegation scrap.
Yeah, they're quite an unlucky team as well, aren't they? They play well, but they still finish pretty low on
Yeah,
the table.
I can see them. I think the full on relegation scrap. Southampton, Burnley, Newcastle, Brentford, Watford, Norwich, and I think the likes of Brighton will sort of dip in and out of it. There'll be periods where you think they're absolutely fine. Then there'll be periods where they're kind of they're dipping their toe back into it, and then they'll pull themselves out of it. So I don't necessarily see them being relegated. Just that they'll be amongst it for periods of the season. So top four L.
Oof.
Tough, but I think
So
the teams that you would classically pick for the top four teams probably just be United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. They just look like a little bit of a league above. Obviously, no disrespect to the likes of West Ham, Leicester have really put in a challenge over the past couple of years, and even Spurs. The fact that Kane is now staying. I've heard that he's signing a three-year deal at,
no way.
at Spurs. I I don't know
Oh,
whether
well,
that's rubbish. I was listening to a podcast last night of guys who were saying it. So,
Poor
Um,
guy.
like, yeah, I don't know, but yeah,
That's such a shame.
we'll
Such a
wait and
shame.
see on that. That's not a like here we go confirmed, but that's just what I've
Mm.
heard. Could be absolute rubbish. Um, yeah, but I think those are the four that I would go with. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with that four. It's just the order of the four, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, United not in there for cheese bomb. Interesting.
he's having a bit of a giggle there, to be fair, isn't he?
A
Um,
little bit of a giggle.
I think it'll be City win, Chelsea second, United third, Liverpool fourth,
Hmm.
Leicester fifth,
Oh, he's
Spurs
rolling
sixth.
off. Spurs six. Where do Arsenal feature? That's always a fun one.
Arsenal will be
12th? Yeah, what about
relegation scrap.
11th, 12th.
I think West Ham will struggle because they've obviously got Prem and
Yeah, we've seen teams do that,
Europe
dip off
now.
a bit. Wolves did that, Leicester did that.
I don't think West Ham have the squad to do two
Even
big
Spurs. And
competitions.
yeah, no, I agree with that.
Um, yeah, Spurs sixth for me. I think. I think the
It's Bergwijn's here. It could well be, man. It could well be. Interesting one for you is Dele Alli. If he gets a consistent spot at 6.5 mil in the cam position for Spurs, that could be very interesting. Could we see
I
a
remember two
resurgence
seasons
there?
ago, Dele Alli was everyone had him.
He had that period. I think it was about 7.5. He had a period where, he was doing very, very well. He sort of goes through those surges. If you hit the surge with him,
Mm.
he pays absolute dividends. But he's not he hasn't really for me that I've seen has like a season long influence on teams. Just had small surges. So yeah, what first to fourth? Who are we going with to win?
Sorry, bro.
Oh,
It
go
broke
go
up a little
go
bit
go. Okay, go start with fourth, and then we'll build it up.
then. Liverpool fourth,
Liverpool fourth. Okay,
United third,
United third.
and then I think Chelsea second, City first. I think
Putting
City's
City at
squad's just too good,
You're putting City at the top.
unfortunately.
Now, I think I go United fourth, City third, Liverpool second, Chelsea first.
Are you backing Chelsea to win?
Yeah, I really think Chelsea will win now. They're, the defensive stats under Tuchel. Lukaku is just an absolute machine. Like I know Werner came in as this guy, he's gonna be their striker, blah blah blah. But Lukaku was proven in the Premier League. The way he was balling out in the Serie A, how he looked in the Euros, he's gonna have like a 25 plus goal season in my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
I
feasible.
just think Chelsea win
Definitely
it. But
feasible.
then, yeah, I think it's Chelsea or City's to lose me. I do think that Liverpool will have a good season now that defensively they've got cover and they've got players in there.
Yeah, the only thing that puts me off Liverpool is Van Dijk is nowhere near what he was.
Yeah,
Like watching their
potentially, yeah.
pre-season, teams are still all over them.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
so maybe Chelsea first, City second, probably
yeah,
is where I go with it, and then actually then United, Liverpool, yeah, that's what I go with. And
and
yeah,
I think I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna put a bit of money on United winning the Champions League.
winning the Champions League. What are the odds
Yeah.
for that looking like?
I'm not sure actually. I've not looked in a while. I just think our team at the moment is very suited to European football
Hmm.
with Varane and Sancho coming in, more so than Premier League football at the moment.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think United have got a good chance of maybe not the Premier League this season, but certainly the Champions
I
League.
think also the reason I go for Chelsea over City is the fact that City this season, their main, they've won the Premier League enough times over the past few years that
Mm,
they're gonna desperately want the Champions League, and if it comes between winning the league and winning the Champions League, 100% they're giving everything to the Champions League. So I'm not
that's
saying
true.
they're going to completely neglect the league because their
Mm,
squad is so good, Um, but I don't think the squad is as good as it was last season. In terms of depth. So I think a couple
Mm.
of injuries here and there, and they could be hit. Um, Joe Mama, how do you change formation? Yeah, as you say, well, once you make the substitutions in and out, it should just automatically change for you. That's the thing about formations, whether people go. I think we've both gone with a three. Oh, we've gone with a three at the back,
Yeah,
and you've gone with the five midfielders. I've gone with the three attackers. But I think for the start of the season, it makes sense to me to go a little bit more all out in the attack. Um, and then maybe like as the season goes on, move towards the defenders. I guess that you can bring in the 4.5 mil defenders and the cheaper defenders who are actually scoring really well, and then that allows you to obviously bolster up the midfield and attack with more premium players.
yeah, I agree. I think I started last season with a 4-4-2,
Mm.
and it was a lot harder to upgrade a cheap defender to a good midfielder than to downgrade a midfielder to a cheap defender.
Yeah,
'Cause it takes those cheap defenders a while to
sort of
get
come
going, and
through, and
it
yeah,
takes a
yeah,
couple of weeks to work out who's the 4.5 to go for, doesn't it?
exactly. And then you can pick. Not necessarily. I think I'd still only go like for 4.5 mil. In terms of play them week in week out because it is just quite a
Mm.
flimsy position. But I think I'm gonna be thinking tonight about going for Ailing over White. That's going to be a big debate in my mind for sure. But
Mm.
that'll be
That's
one to
fair
look
enough.
into.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've been going for a bit now. Dave says, "Don't bet with your heart, El. Do
Oh,
don't bet with
it's
your heart."
it's got to be done. It's heart and head, to be fair.
How much would you put on?
United win the Champions League.
Yeah,
Maybe a tenner.
tenner. Fair. Well, let me know what that returns you. I've already put my mandatory bets on Palace to win the league and
Mm.
to get top four. So we'll see if that goes through. Because I just think for me, I put a couple of quid on each season because it's like 1,000 to 1. So if
Yeah.
it ever
Well, you
did
may as well.
happen, I definitely regret not chucking a couple of quid on.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's 2 quid for 2,000. I mean,
It's like those people that bet on Leicester
yeah,
when they won
exactly.
the Prem. They won so much money.
Yeah, because the odds back then were absurd. They've capped them, I think, like 1,500 now or 2,000.
Yeah,
Back
I
then it was
think
like five, 10,000 to one
yeah,
or
the most you
something.
can get now, I think, is 500 to 1. I think that's as high as it goes.
No, well, the one I did for Palace was 1,000.
Oh, is it? Oh, fair.
Yeah, yeah, and I
What
think it
was that on
does.
Sky Bet or what was that on?
Yeah, it goes up a bit more than that as well for your Norwiches and stuff.
Oh, decent.
Um, but yeah, anyway,
Babbling Buffoons.
Pambling Buffoons. Oh, what you want to do some predictions for the score predictions?
It'd be rude not to, Job. It'd be rude
Yeah,
not
we're
to.
rude not to. Okay, I don't actually have the fixtures up with me, but we'll roll through them pretty quickly. Um, let me find them. I'll get them on my phone. Flicking back and forth between the screens. So Brentford, we're gonna absolutely roll through these. Brentford, Arsenal. What we saying?
2-1 Brentford.
2-1 Brentford. 1-0 Arsenal. Uh, Man United Leeds.
2-2.
2-2. I was thinking around that ballpark of like 3-1 United. The two. I'm gonna agree with you. I think 2-2 is a very solid shout. Burnley Brighton.
0-0.
It's gonna be an absolute goal fest this one. um, I'm gonna go agree with the end result, but I'm gonna give a 1-1. Chelsea Crystal Palace. Two Cows boys versus Patrick Vieira. Will Lukaku be fit to start in the first game? What are you going
I don't
with?
think he will. I think he'll miss the first game.
Yeah,
But I still think Chelsea will win maybe 2-1.
yeah. I think if Lukaku plays, Chelsea win 2-0. But if he doesn't,
Yeah,
Palace are going to pip it. We're going to go away to the bridge, first game of the season, and shut them all up. It's going to be 1-0 Palace.
that's true.
Can you be in
Who
more
just
than
scored
one
on
league?
Zaha?
Yep, you can. Who to score? Nah, it's going to be a Christian Benteke goal, and everyone's going to clamour to get him in. That's what's going to happen. Everton, Southampton.
Um, that's two pretty poor teams against each other, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. Southampton haven't had a good start. Neither have Everton in terms of like their pre-season preparations. Hasn't looked good. For that reason, just because Everton are at home, I think I'm going to pip Everton on this one. And if Richarlison and DCL are back, I think that'll be absolutely massive for them. So I'm going to go 2-0 Everton.
Oh, 2-0, fair. I was just going to say 1-1, to be honest. I think it'll be a
Yeah,
pretty dead game.
fair. Leicester Wolves. The return of Raul Jimenez.
2-0 Leicester.
2-0 Leicester.
I think Wolves have looked
I think,
appalling
but both of
pre-season.
us are kind of in the back of our minds. Definitely been. I went with the 2-0 Everton with Dean. You've gone with the 2-0 Leicester with Amity. Maybe a
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
the bias coming through.
Barnes
Um,
brace.
I got 1-1 with this one.
Mm.
Yeah, I could see Wolves scoring, to be honest. That Adama Jimenez link up is going to be back, and it's going to be beautiful.
Definitely
Um,
proven.
yeah, exactly. They were the best in that season. I think it was 2 seasons ago. They were the best like combination of
Oh,
forwards.
it was in Europe, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So
It was amazing. Yeah, it was really good.
with the prices they're coming in at and the fixtures that Wolves have come Game Week 4,
Mm.
the combination could be back. Watford Villa. I think you know where I'm gonna head with this one.
2-0 Villa.
I'm gonna up it to 4. I think this is gonna
4.
be. I think this is gonna be a spanking. Like Palace scored 3 goals against them. You have to remember in the preseason, and like
Mm.
their defending was woeful, absolutely
Yeah.
woeful.
I've
Like,
seen pictures of their setup on Twitter, and you've basically got all 4 defenders on the front post and no one on the back post, and
yeah, yeah, and
just
especially
terrible.
like the speed as well. Ings Watkins absolutely rapid. Danny
Mm.
Rose looked awful. Like
Yeah.
he looked poor. So I think this is going to be a big scoreline. This one, as you can tell from my triple up on Aston Villa, Norwich Liverpool.
Um, is it going to be the start of a pucky party again? I hope not.
I don't think so, but I think Norwich will score. I think it'll be 2-1 Liverpool.
Mm. Yeah, I think Liverpool's defence isn't there yet,
No.
so I think 3-1, 3-2 Liverpool.
Verge to make his return with a brace against the Canaries. That's how we like it. Newcastle versus West Ham at
Oh, it
St
could be 3-0 West Ham
James's
that game.
Park. 3-0 West Ham, you reckon?
Yeah,
I
maybe
still,
3-1.
yeah,
They've got Wilson
I
still.
think I'm gonna pip. You've got Wilson.
No, Dave Wilson's
Yeah,
fit
yeah,
to
as
play
in
that
Wilson's
game.
fit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna go 3-1. I think West Ham win this game.
Yeah.
The class of West Ham will shine through in terms of Benrahma, Soucek, Bowen, Antonio. They'll shine through. But I think with the crowd there, it's interesting to know that now that the crowds are back, I do think it's going to have a lot of effect for the home teams because you see in the last kind of 10 minutes of games that probably wasn't happening as much when the crowds weren't there. If there's only one goal in it, the crowd like absolutely goes for it, and it's kind of what used to happen at Palace quite a lot. We'd keep ourselves in it just by maybe conceding one goal. It'll be 0-0, and then the last
Mm.
10 minutes, the opposition goal would just get an absolute beating, and one of them will go in basically. And then the final fixture of the weekend, probably the biggest fixture in terms of big boys playing against each other. Not any of the really big deciding games, but it could be Spurs versus Manchester City.
Oh, just to quickly update as well. So it's 1-0 in the Super Cup at the moment
Hmm.
between Chelsea and Villa Real.
Yeah.
Ziyech scored but went off injured.
Oh, really? It's a shame.
Um,
What's the
but
defense looking like in terms of who's starting?
so back five
Hmm.
with
Rudiger.
Adoy, um, Sh- Chalobah, never heard of him.
Yeah. Oh no, I know Chalobah.
Zuma, Rudiger, and Alonso.
Okay, interesting. So it seems like not too many first teams are in there.
And then to be fair, the attackers are all first teamers. So Kante, Kovacic, Ziyech, Havertz, and Werner.
Yeah. Okay.
And Pulisic has come on for Ziyech.
Is Big Boy Lukaku anywhere to be seen on the bench?
No,
Not at all.
he's I don't think that deal's happened yet, has it? It's still in
Yeah,
sort
it's
of
still.
final talks.
Well, no. I mean, if I don't know if he's been pictured in a Chelsea kit, with Tuchel, I feel like the deal is done.
Mm.
Just needs announcing, I guess. I don't know. I find it hard to believe if he would, don the Chelsea kit and then they'd be like, oh no, deal's off.
Are they
back
like
to
training
Inter.
pictures, or is it like could it be photoshopped?
I don't know. I mean, the Photoshops now are so good. It could have been Photoshop, but it was literally like him getting off of a plane with like Tuchel, the rest of the Chelsea squad,
Oh, fair enough.
so on and so on.
I
So
haven't seen that picture.
I don't know. It could have been Photoshop. Who knows? Kobe, how you doing, man? Long time no see. Well, we'll be wrapping this one up soon, but I will 100% be doing a deadline stream. With the return of Oreo Brown, FPL Penguin. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Ricardo Pereira or Ryan Bertrand. Oh, that's two very, very differential picks. Bertrand, I believe in pre-season's got a decent amount of like set pieces at Leicester now. It's a really interesting one, that one. What do you think, Al? With Ryan Bertrand getting that move to Leicester, sort of one that's maybe gone under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'll just go with Bertrand because he's cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't think there's too much between those two at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Will they both start?
I assume. What happened is Castagna still injured.
Yeah, I don't know about Castagna actually. You'd assume that Castagna would start if fit, but Leicester seem to have, they have loads of fullbacks, but they're always getting injured. So
Yeah.
I mean, Bertrand's one that likes an injury as well. So it's gonna be an interesting one there. But yeah, thanks everyone for popping in. I will be sure to make a fantasy league so that the next time I'm on live.
Oh, Spurs
We can
City,
all join.
2-0 City.
2-0 City. Well, they're playing now, are they?
No, as in that was the last prediction.
Oh, okay, 2-0. Yeah. Yeah, why not? I'll get behind that. 2-0 City. Depends if Kane's there, I can see it being like a 2-1. Quickly, Kobe, which double up do you think is better? Greenwood or Sufal? Barnes and Shaw. I would lean towards Barnes and Shaw, just because I really
100%.
like Shaw out of that. Shaw's the main. You probably could have said a lot of players in Shaw, and I would have just said that one.
Yep.
Greenwood Sufal, it's all right. The FPL corner flag is a massive fan of Greenwood, being a Manchester United supporter, but yeah, I do really, really like Luke Shaw. And so,
If he can do half of what he did in the Euros and the Prem, then we're laughing.
yeah, exactly. And so there we are. Thank you everyone for joining. If you are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, and we'll catch you for the deadline stream. So probably about half an hour to an hour before the deadline at 6:30 on Friday. The return of FPL, the return of the Premier League, and I'll see you then. Have a good one. Cheers, all.